Why didn't they catch that?
It wasn't, they're talking about.
I got
Yeah,
you.
they were only doing a tie-in back then, make sure you stayed in your footprint, but not the elevation.
So they didn't do periodic.
They just did what they wanted.
I remember that crazy time when they were building, yeah. Yeah, remember it.
Everybody like me assumed, well, this must be 35, it's just because the county's taking, doing their due diligence.
Yeah, as I go across the bridge, I sort of line the properties in the new one,
We need to
Delaware
get some.
Shore. It seems like it's,
There's a 4-story Mellow Shore, and they got an exemption for that. That's the white one with the flat roof. That's actually 4 floors, so it'll give you the history of a guy who was very well organized in the state of New Jersey. Is that a nice way to put it?
yes, I get it.
All right, we go. I mean, looked at anything change on here?
No, but I have your 3 items are all in chapter 94, so you can go to those first.
Where are they at?
So we had docks, boat parking, and containers, right? You want to
Yeah.
talk about? So I have page 34 of
34?
chapter 94 is where the boat parking is discussed.
Are we gonna call the meeting to order and do the roll call and approval of the agenda and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Page 34. Where's that? Oh, it's just,
Yeah, it's gonna be up in this area.
All right,
Yeah, you
well,
open the meeting first.
let's call to order.
I agree.
Board Member Angela Berry. Here. Board Member Brenda Bonacera. Board Member Luke
Yes.
Doing. Chair Doug Prescott.
I'm here.
City Manager Kyle Riefler.
I'm here.
City Attorney Tom Trask.
Here.
All right. Do we have our copy of the minutes by chance?
We do have the minutes. Did you give them each a copy?
Of the minutes
It's
from
in-
March, yes.
It's in this big packet.
It should be behind probably the
The
agenda.
very front.
All right. Well, I need some motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. I approve the minutes.
So the second was made by,
Myself.
I'm sorry.
okay, the chair can't make the second. So, sir, will you make the second?
Second.
Okay. And then the vote?
I approve the minutes.
So all in favor?
All right.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry, guys, I'm new to
That's
this.
all right.
You just
How
did
you handle it, but I'm just
We
gonna,
ain't been here for 4 months either, so.
okay, okay. So we're all on the right path then. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, keep us in line. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna pick up where we left off.
Okay, so we're on chapter 94, and we're gonna go to page 34, which deals with parking of boats and trailers. About a third of the way down, you'll see B, boats and trailers, and then Chair Prescott wanted to discuss this part. I think you were talking about where you're obscuring the view with the fence.
No. What I was talking about, so I'll start over. What I brought up was, you got your permit, you put your dock in, you got a 12-foot setback on either side. Okay, the whole idea of that is to keep building a marina behind your house. You know, you can't put a boat there, you can't put anything there, it's just space. So now I went boating Memorial Day, and I was cruising around and checking out. I had some seawall damage all over the place from the storm, and I started realizing there's a lot of people putting their boats. Like I said, here's the dock, here's their lift where the boat is, and then there's another boat in between the tide poles in the neighbor's yard right there in that house. And it's not like they're just there for a barbecue for the day. They're there for months and months at a time. So now they're used to using it as a marina, and that's what we're trying to tighten up. So I know we got a thing that says you're not supposed to build anything in that 12-foot setback, I don't think there's anything really definitive that you can't use it as a push to moor your boat. So I think
Yeah.
that's the intent of it, so I think we need to put some language in there.
Yeah, no, I think you're correct. I think you gotta keep all the lift components and the docks and everything out of that 12-foot area, but it doesn't say anything about,
It's not
hitching the
definitive.
boat up right into that area. Okay.
And there's a couple of them that have some monster boats, you know, like, that wouldn't even fit on a lift anyways. Like, I think there's one in our cove, not almost across from me, yeah, about 40 foot boat. But anyways, I think it's need to add that in there.
So, do you guys agree with that? Does that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, how do you determine if it's there? Like, I guess you have to put a time limit on it. Like, if somebody came to visit you, you'd want them to be able to park for.
Yeah, I would say for the day, maybe in
24 hours?
Yeah, 24 hours, like kind of like what you do with the RV or something. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody come in, plug in for a weekend or something. You know, it'd be unreasonable. And then the next one I brought up was the storage containers.
44.
And we didn't have, that's where we ended our meeting before the last meeting, is we were gonna come
Yeah.
back to that, and we just ran out of time.
Yeah.
And so, you guys know I'm in that business, so I kind of know a little bit about it. And the rule here was real short period of time. 7 days. And, well, actually, I even brought it up to Kathy yesterday. I think I did bring it up towards the end of our last meeting, that a lot of people, if you're not in the business or a mover, you really don't get the industry and what the purpose of the things are for. But if you put a storage container in your driveway and leave it there, that's one way they do it. Or they drop it off, you put your things, and they take it back and store it in a warehouse. It's really the two options you have. Now, when you're remodeling your house, you typically leave it there if you can, if you're allowed to do it. And that's what happens is when you load them, and there's two ways of loading them, and most people are not movers, they don't really know how to load it well, is if they transport them, the risk of damage goes way up. So, like for instance, a lot of the ones you've seen in the driveways now where people got flooded, and there's more salvage to granite. In the areas, we all know that's expensive. And so you take the granite off, you set it inside the container, that thing comes and lifts it up, hauls it back, forklifts it 5 or 6 times, there's a good chance that granite ain't gonna make it back. And so it's meant to be stationary. And so redoing your floors in your house, people just flood the container, leave it there, and when the floors are done, back in. You're not gonna redo 3,000 square feet of stone floor or wood floor in 7 days. So I suggest we extend the time, and I suggest it's complaint driven on after that for enforcement. So if somebody's there for 45 days instead of 30, or we go to, like, 60, I prefer 60 days, and then everything's, another 5-6 days to finish the job up. It's just be reasonable. But, or the length of the permit, if you pulled a permit to,
Yeah, because we're talking, I was thinking maybe we could just have it as part with the permit.
That would make sense if you're doing a big job, but it does make sense to leave the container there, not only just for your household items, but for some of your supplies to your house that get some value to them. Flooring shows up, or some appliances show up, and you don't want to just leave them exposed in the garage. But some jobs require non-permit. You have to get a permit to put your floor in.
Yeah, for flooring.
Yeah, so that's what I'd like to cover, both sides of that. But your permit, we nailed the permit down pretty good. That's the extent of the permit, how many days. So some were 6 months, some were 9 months, whatever it is right now, but they all made sense. So if we could keep something in line with the permit, that'd go hand in hand, and then obviously it's going to leave when the permit's done. And then if we just, somebody needs a container, there's got to be some kind of aberration with the storm.
Yeah.
It's a different type of thing, but.
Okay.
You're probably gonna wanna put a maximum number of days though, because you're gonna get to those people that are reconstructing and remodeling their own home without a contractor. They may go 6 months without having an inspection, have the inspection, go another 6 months, have an inspection, and it can go on for years and years and years.
The 50% rule, we hold that.
So you're probably gonna wanna put on
I would say 60 days.
no more than whatever number of days,
Not to
whatever is
exceed
appropriate.
under any circumstances.
I think that's fair.
I just know that being in the industry, I know,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
some
yeah,
cities have popped
Not
up.
only that, the availability of having the qualified people to do the work.
Yeah,
A lot of people are just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting.
correct.
Yeah.
And everybody's
Yeah, I
been doing
think
that
that's
lately with
good.
all the backed up work we have.
Materials.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're the living
If you
proof
want,
of
you're
that.
going through it, yeah. So that's my suggestion, and you, what do y'all, everybody fine with 60 days?
Yeah.
And then follow the permit on the other side, whatever
Yeah.
length of the permit.
60 days for just,
That would be
Regular?
the maximum.
and then if a storm,
Storms, I think that's just something you kind of.
I think the storm, in some ways, is overridden by statute. Is that correct? With the emergency declaration and the RVs and.
So with that, there was an executive order that was issued by the governor after the last two hurricanes. He did promote the use of recreational vehicles, and there was a change in the statute, but it's not for storage containers. It's
Okay.
recreational vehicle. You have to live in the recreational vehicle. It has to meet certain regulations of the city. For example, it can't be on the roadway. It has to be on your own property. It has to be within the setbacks, all those different types of things. Storage containers are not part of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Because we currently have them in a lot of areas. So we should probably discuss what our storm time limit should be.
I would put, right now, let's use a live example where we got hit in what, in end of September and also the end of, or the beginning of October. Right? So, and here we're now sitting in June. So that's, we got 8 months in the books already.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we have a little ways to go. This was a bad one. This is the real deal. So I'd say maybe put 6 months on it, then have them come in and ask for an extension to give you right to use it. You know, Kathy, this is our situation here. You know, we're backed up on our contractor, our flooring's still being ordered, or whatever the case is. But maybe 6 months at a time.
Okay. And then still go with like repair permits as well too.
Yeah, there you go. So we all good on that?
Yep, I am.
Unanimous?
yes.
One question, if it's, say it's like a flooring permit, matter of weeks, do we start them out at less days? We got a max not to exceed 60 days, but say for all other work, if it's not tied to a permit.
Well, I think what we agreed on was if it's not a permit, it's 60. And then if there is a permit, it stays
Is it
to
longer?
they stays with the length of the permit.
But not, do we all have a max time on that?
What we already did, but we went through this earlier in one of our meetings.
So you want it to be the max, the
Follow-
exact permit?
yeah,
time
follow
period.
that.
Okay, okay.
Once the construction's over, it's over, and the dumpsters are gone. And if you got a dumpster in your driveway for that long, who cares about a container? And they don't want to pay it any longer than they have to. It kind of regulates itself. They just wants to pay for a storage container that they're not using. And the last one is the
I think most homeowners would want to get rid of it
Yeah.
as soon as they
Yeah,
could,
they
yeah.
do.
And they're paying for it by the month and, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
They definitely self-regulates.
Yeah, gotta be fair about
The
this.
last one was got a rather big change or whatnot, but I got time to really deep dive into this packet. I jumped right in, sworn in one day, and then in the meeting the next, and here we are. So I really spent a lot of time reading
Bless
it.
you.
Was the what do you call it? The RM District
Oh,
1.
right. Yep.
RM District 1. We really didn't. We just we skimmed through that, and
And where is that?
that was what.
That is gonna be Division 2, starts.
Page 24.
Page 24.
24?
Residential meeting.
There you go. We went through that rather quickly, and I started looking around the city. I started looking at the current situation where we're at. And part of the reason I jumped back into this city hall type of world was I was asked to, and asked to brought in because we're going to lose a lot of tax base revenue here in the next, not necessarily the last cycle just paid, but the coming cycle and the one following that. This house will be destroyed, torn down, and so forth. So any area we could try to build our city back up stronger with a major tax increase is important. And so that's I went right after the residential height, and the utilization of 3 floors instead of 2 floors and so forth. That's going to obviously add to our ad valorem over time. And the other, I look more on the RF1, which is like condos and the small hotels that we have and so forth. And I read in it, it's 0.50 on the FAR, which is really, really low. It's almost like making it just a dog park. And then the other one is it's, I'll get all the stats down, but it's 15 units per acre, which is, once again, not much. So then I go, well, let's go compare to. So I looked up Indian Rocks, I looked up Clearwater, Bel Air Bluffs, what they're currently doing or maybe already done is, the FAR is pretty much 1.2 to depth. FAR is basically the floor area ratio, which is like the density. And 1.2 seems to be this still being conservative. Like the Clearwater Beach, they change the rules as they need to and build whatever they want. But Clearwater itself is pretty much right there with 1.2. So I go, well, let's just take hypothetically the Bel Air Beach Motel. I've been here my whole life, so it's always been kind of an icon here. Matter of fact, when I got married, all my out-of-town guests stayed there. It was called LaSalle back then, and then it changed to Bel Air Beach Motel. Right now I think they got 43, 30, 44 units there. I don't know.
Yes.
I think something like that. All right, so if they got leveled, they can't close, they barely got approved to do what they're doing now. If they got leveled, all they can get is 15 units. So we wouldn't have another Bel Air Beach Motel. We'd have condos, townhouses, something. So wouldn't we want to keep our 1 or 2 little quaint little hotels on the beach? It's kind of neat. We're not turning this into Indian Rocks. We're not turning it into restaurants and bars, but we do have those basically grandfathered in. And I'm like, we came that close from losing that. I think I call it a gem. It's pretty neat. And I've sent tons of my guests over there that didn't want to stay and me personally. And that'd be gone. There's
I've used their facility more than once myself over the years, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the one that, there was 2 other little ones closer to Sand Key that, well, I don't think, you would know more than me, but one's got a fence around it and I haven't seen anything. I think they're total. But,
That's the Nautical Watch.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for their, I have an appraisal that I'm getting reviewed, and I'm waiting for their storm damage package.
That's how close it is. It might not make
It's
it,
close,
right?
yeah.
All right. So then there's the one right next to Morgan that I think got converted into condos. It was like 8 units.
I think that's a 2,700. Is that
Well, so sounds about right.
Right north of it, yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty much. There was one on the other side of 3100 building that's now like 4 townhouses. But when I grew up as a kid, but that's it. That's all we got. And so, but anyways, I'd like to say, well, let's be more realistic on redoing that since it's time to do it. So I came up with something that's probably, I think, would make sense. And so instead of going 15 units per acre, let's say 25 per acre, 20 to 25 in that ratio, it could be, obviously a smaller or bigger units. But I would say instead of keeping it on the ground like they are, have anything on the golf side to be parking underneath like they do on St. Key. And then from there, go up, let's say 50 feet over the base of the BFE, the base flood elevation. So let's say right from above you get up, the first 9 feet is where the cars should be anyways, and that is flood anyways. You're not building there now, current code. So from that 9 feet up, they'll be able to go 50.
So you're talking
versus
59 feet and all.
Yeah, but now we're talking more of the commercial side, if you will, and then you could get away with more luxury, bigger units and so forth, and you'd still have tremendous amount of green space with only 1.2 density. So that was, good. Right now it's just basically stripping out. We're not gonna have a Bella Beach Motel. If they leveled right now or burnt down.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Per this,
There's no
these
way.
rules, yeah.
It's just .50 is, not supposed to have a dog park.
That's been there since I can remember.
It's since the city's been here.
Sorry?
This is since the
Yeah,
beginning of the
see.
city. I think it was there just before we became a city. So it goes back a long time.
Yeah.
It was part of growing up here, that place.
What do you guys think?
Well, can you pick certain structures and say they're exempt? Can we do that? Can we?
So the answer is no.
Okay.
If you're changing the zoning district, it's going to apply to the entire zoning district. You cannot pick out particular properties unless they've been rezoned to something other than the RM District 1. So the answer is no, you can't do that.
So you know
It'd
where
be
that,
basically a taking.
right, it'd be,
Except like our marina.
that's what you'd have a variance for if you wanted to do individual property. But but basically where it picks up is right at the 19th Street. There's the easement there. There's one more residential home. And then the townhouses start, and it go from there all the way to the gates of Sankey, or the entrance of Sankey, and that's your condo on the Gulf side only. And so the properties that would ever come into play, because the condos, it would take a lot to get every condo owner to agree to tear down and rebuild. We probably wouldn't see that unless we had a total disaster. So you really would come into play is the three locations I mentioned that are basically motels. It'd come into play in that one area right next to the Morgan, but once
I think it's a Chateau Bel Air Beach,
where a bunch of
27.
non-conforming properties are in there.
or maybe based the one just north of this one. Weldon Buildings.
Maybe where's it? Yeah, probably that there. That's probably like the non-conforming houses. Yeah, they're all like they don't make. They wouldn't meet codes like the whole Media Rock section on the Gulf side. They were everywhere. No setbacks and whatever. So if that area got wiped out, that would come into play for the new zoning. But probably more than likely that these condos here that been there since the 70s are not it's not going to change the whole landscape. But 3 or 4 spots possibly can happen if we get the next big storm, or somebody wants to take out one of these old developments and just up. But the whole idea is you would capture a lot more taxes to the city. The property values would go up.
I know when they were the motel thought that they may be substantially damaged, and they were looking to sell to a developer who wanted to build luxury townhomes, and they were looking for a higher height for that purpose. Maybe they couldn't fit what they wanted in our current codes. So
They had filed
That's
for a
kind of what they
variance, this
want.
developer filed a variance, and he got it, just so you know. So they approved him another 10 feet, I believe 9 or 10 feet above the current code. They approved underground parking, or underneath parking, I should say, and they approved more of a density. So if that right out of the gate, our Board of Adjustments is approving that, it sounds like the rules we have in place are not even a baseline to begin with.
There's another option. If you're really concerned about these hotels as they currently exist, there are some cities that have added provisions to their code that basically say that if the facility, the building, the structure, whatever, is destroyed as a result of a catastrophic event, such as a hurricane or whatever, then they could rebuild in the same footprint with the same density, the same FAR, the same ISR that they currently have. They couldn't expand it, but they could build in their same footprint. And that would protect those little places like you're thinking about, but it doesn't open up every other parcel that is currently zoned RM1 District 1 to these changes. If that's what you're really thinking is to protect them.
That's where I started.
Okay.
All right, and then I hear what you're saying, but I looked into that, and let's just say hypothetically, one of these small motels did get beyond the 50%, they're not coming back, can't get a permit, and they're allowed to go with this rule, like you're saying, to put it there in the same footprint. It all makes sense until you get to the BFE. because these are built right on the ground. And you're not gonna let you rebuild that on the ground, and make you come up to the height.
Right, you would have to either elevate,
But then you-
demolish and rebuild, but you would be able to do it in the same footprint.
Right, but what you have to at least give them, to get this, let's say 2 floors or 3 floors or whatever they have currently now, you'd have to give them a higher height. Or they run a room, that's because you gotta put the parking underneath or build it up underneath.
And we could add that language in a catastrophic event provision in your code. So if you want to do it the entire district, that's what you're talking about now. If you want to do it on particular parcels, because they're non-conforming at this point, we can do that catastrophic event provision. It really is whatever direction that you want to take. I'm just saying there are other options
Other
if
options, I appreciate
you,
that.
other than to just, make it citywide on that whole zoning district.
And I gave that some thought, but I didn't know that was actually, well, it's kind of almost your question, yes. But I was thinking if you simplify it, since maybe somehow, because we've got a lot of these properties are going to be affected anyways, is just to get up to with the other cities anyways, and get to the 1.2 density with the FAR, get to, let's say, a lot of them, like Indian Rocks is 30 units per acre. We'll just say we go to 20, 25, so we're not, that is still reasonable. Because Indian Rocks is, well, you're stepping on top of each other. It's kind of crammed down there. So I wouldn't suggest 30, but I would definitely think 25 to 20, more than 15.
And if the motel is that old, don't they fall under that historical preservation?
I don't think it's classified historic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the Bellevue Biltmore, that was in there.
So I found 94-102, we do have 2 code sections for rebuilding after catastrophic loss. So there is something under B that says notwithstanding any provision of this code, to the contrary, a multifamily structure, hotel, motel, or motor lodge located within zoning district RM may be rebuilt to the same density, height, rear and side setbacks of the existing structure except the front setbacks.
We don't have it.
Coastal construction line, floodplain regulations, fire code, and parking requirements shall confirm the current code regulations. So
That's what I'm.
the height code would be
That'd be the kicker.
restriction.
So you could change that provision to add in a provision relative to the height, to increase the height in relation to the number of units that are being built or something like that. That provision could be changed.
And then this is my final conclusion I came up with, why I think we should just change it outright, because we're not talking about a lot of properties, and the reason why I was thinking this is we have to almost wait for the next big storm or fire or some kind of catastrophic event to happen to any of these properties. And circling back to the main objective is to, well, it'd be nice to keep something that iconic like that, but also to maximize the potential revenue that make the value of the property. Immediately we changed this rule, that property value just went up. And then Mike Twitty and the gang can go ahead and reassess it at a higher tax base, and we can get more tax revenue to Bel Air Beach. And that's kind of the main objective, to replace what we lost, because it's going to be a while before all these homes are back on the tax rolls where they should be.
Do you know about any of their plans? Because
They're remodeling.
They're remodeling.
They're remodeling now. And I'm not saying that individual owner, that those people there. I'm just saying overall, maybe a developer will approach that them people 5, 10 years from now, whatever the case may be, and say, hey, you can take this out and rebuild and build a nicer, better spot. 'Cause that is pretty antiquated building this. It's not a pretty thing now, it's so old. But they put it in a shiny, better mousetrap there. And it would increase revenue in this, look great city.
Yeah.
And that's when planning and zoning do these type of things in cities, that's when you see a lot of improvements to cities.
Yeah.
And it starts right here where we're at. Instead of going to variance committees and trying to
Yeah.
case by case. So I'm all for these changes. I guess I'll see what you guys think. How do you all feel about it?
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
It's really just 3 bullet points. Increasing the units from 15 to say 25 to 20, we can figure that out. The FAR is, even Kyle's mentioned, is the .50 is way too low.
What do you recommend for that?
1.2.
How do you get 1.2? Because isn't it the total land divided by the?
I didn't do
The FAR.
the actually math, I just copied the other cities.
They might do a different equation in their definition.
They might, I can do some more research on
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And,
Increase that.
and then the height, right now it's currently 35 at the BFE. So that would, I suggest 50. Because like they already did a variance for this particular property, they gave them another 10. So whoever's gonna build it, they're gonna ask for higher than 35. It's just
Which property was that?
the Bel Air Beach Motel.
Oh, they got 10 additional?
Yeah, they got 10 feet higher than what they're.
So they're at 44 now, at 45.
If they're not, if that deal fell apart, it didn't go through, whether it was, I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the one they were proposing?
Yeah,
I got
they
you.
actually
Yeah,
went
they
for
were-
the-
they wanted higher.
They went to and got a variance on, they're doing their due diligence. If they get everything they want, then they'll buy it. For some reason, it fell apart, I don't know why. But actually, they went to the FAR there and they got a 1.16. And they got a lot more square foot.
50 feet, that's, is that 50 feet, that's a
I guess
substantial.
it could make sense if they got, how many floors they had? 3 above parking?
3 above
Yeah,
parking.
that's why.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of worked.
So you got your parking and you got your 3 above.
Mhm.
And so-
But if they gave them a variance, why do we need to change things? It
There
sounds
There was
like,
no variance. This is just a proposal that never.
It never happened, so.
but it sounds like they would agree, I mean,
But
I don't know.
the second time around, you trust me, I've been involved with the Board of Adjustments here, you don't need good luck. It just makes sense, so, but here's just an example how it could happen. It's just, it was 35 feet, they added another 9 feet.
We're being very generous if we agree to this. Why don't we just wait to see what is presented?
Well,
If somebody
I'm trying
wants
to increase the property value. So
Yeah.
most people are not gonna, say, if I hypothetically, I'm gonna put a property like that for sale and these existing codes exist, I wouldn't go very far with it because it's not gonna work. The numbers do not add up. So you'd have to have this, and that's a lot of work. You gotta get the engineering,
Oh, yeah.
drawings, and then spend a lot of money on your due diligence end, and then present it, and then come in here and hopefully persuade our Board of Adjustments, you don't know, that could go any direction. And then close 6 months later, if you got all those things perfect, I'll just go on to the next piece of property if I was a developer. But if you change the guidelines that were somewhat favorable for development, improvement, then it would.
Sometimes people
Yeah,
buy out.
But that lot isn't that big, is it?
It's right over an acre, I think, a little over an acre.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's all, like, if you go to a smaller lot, it just goes to the FAR, whatever, it'd be less. So you wouldn't put 20 units on a half an acre, because you'd run out of your density. It's measured, it keeps all the green space and everything all relative.
Because I know.
But if you don't go 50 feet, you go, let's say you go 45. No, they gave them a variance to 44. So 45, that's not that big a deal.
Well, some of the big houses down.
No, that's not houses, that's just,
No,
that's,
I know.
yeah, our,
1.2 acres.
yeah.
What is it?
1.2.
That's not very big.
No, so you
I mean,
get,
you figure a swimming pool and
yeah, but right now they got 43
They would allow like
units.
18 units, I guess. 1.2.
how many units in there?
43.
Right now,
Yeah.
like over.
Some of
Close
them
to
are very
40,
small.
maybe 30.
So they're really what they did back in the 50s.
but you said we couldn't do that, right? We couldn't pick certain properties and not,
And I think the chair is suggesting this would be, this zoning district wide, the entire zoning district. So that's why I was suggesting that there's a way, if you want to protect those hotels, motels that are in existence right now because they're non-conforming, you can use this provision that I have suggested, and then it's already in your code. You can make that change there, 94-102, if you wanted to do that. But you cannot apply these regulations, the 20 to 25 units per acre, the 50 foot above base flood elevation, the 1.2 FAR to one particular parcel. It would have to be this entire district wide, or we'd have to create a new district that would be just maybe that one parcel. For example, planned unit development or something like that that would address that one parcel. I think the chair is suggesting this should be the entire district wide.
I am, and
Right.
in reality, it only really applied to about 4 pieces of property anyway, so we're almost doing exactly what you want, because it wouldn't really apply to, unless we had the biggest tidal wave ever to take these condos out. Because a hurricane's not even gonna do that, they're all concrete, so they're just gonna get flooded, if anything, but, just like
Or
this-
unless the developer came in, bought all the units, destroyed and demoed the entire thing.
Yeah.
And built a new facility, a new structure.
That's what I would see.
And then I mentioned it at how putting that, to get that like herding cats to get everybody to agree at a condo association to sell, but it has happened. But if they did, you're not gonna get that much more than what's already there anyways. Because they're already 3-story with a parking garage under them. So you're not really, you're almost trading out, so why do that? Unless they're just the building's so antiquated.
The more that we talk here, I'm thinking about just leaving it at 35 feet the way we have now. And if it's necessary, then they can apply for a variance. And then this can be determined by the board.
That's why we're talking about it, but I just, like I said, I don't want to increase the property rate right now at all. It actually hurt it. And right now they got it at .50, the FAR. You know, that just says no development. And it says 15 units, that's telling you it's either put some real high-end townhouses there or you're not doing anything with it. So that motel would be gone.
When you say townhouse, now, so you're not going, then you're going more residential instead of
Well,
commercial.
this is residential still. This
It's
area-
still
just-
considered residential.
Yeah, it's still, it's medium residential versus like single family, like just standalone homes. They're multi-unit type.
Now, what if a big conglomerate came and buys the motel and buys the property next door to it?
Well, in this case, there's
It's too joint.
townhouses on either side.
Yeah.
And that way I couldn't see that happening, but you never know, like the attorney mentioned, it can happen. But,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't get much more than was already there. You know, it's pretty much, they'd just be trading what they already have. But in this case, it would, like I said, that motel right now, it was a catastrophic damage. Now that we found this little provision so they can build basically half the place back according to code because of the flood elevation. But it's still, you'd have to change that anyways. You'd have to either go.
But they're under the same rule and obligation that we're all in.
Yeah, but you can't, they're built on the ground. You can't build on the ground anymore. So Bel Air Beach Motel could not be built the way it is now. That it has to come up 9 feet. So then you'd lose a floor. It'd be 1 floor
Yeah.
versus 2.
Yeah.
So that everything goes along with what Kyle looked up and the city attorney had mentioned, other than you'd have to increase the height to allow them to build what they, and that's what Kyle said, you wouldn't get that all under 30 to 35 feet.
Another thing you would notice with these lots, you know, the current setback, how they're calculated, these lots don't follow that. So that's probably part of the reason too, the disaster code, because a lot of them would have to have variant, like they're built way closer to the side property lines.
Yeah, that's what I
than the code
thought
allows.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, the setbacks now are like 25 feet and so forth. The Bel Air Beach Motel's sitting on the property line, basically. There's a little path that takes to the beach there. and you can
Partially
touch the
because of
building.
the easement.
Yeah, so that, they wouldn't get that, they would with going on the same footprint, but But if you go to a new tear down, if you will, and you go to the new setback.
Has there been any requests? It's just something you
it's just-
contacted?
Just
No, it's
driving
very
around.
logical, yeah.
I was asked to try to get more revenue for the city. That's why I joined. In fact, this is the only board I think I've been on that I haven't been on.
It's funny that you enjoy the motel, because I've heard kind of similar arguments, but people don't want the motel there anymore. They want better buildings, they want a better look.
It's
So,
a little bit of an
Similar.
eyesore.
But it's
but-
nostalgic in a way because it's
It
been
is
there
if
for
you
so
lived there your whole
long.
life.
Yeah.
And stayed in it when you were a kid and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've stayed there too at the very beginning, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you're putting a restaurant in it and a bar and, and live bands and turn into, there's Nick Shepherds. No, that's not happening.
So according to this, it says that they have to build at the same height, but they really can't because of them being built on the ground.
Right, because you have to come up 9 feet.
So that needs to be changed. Unless it's like a fire, I guess.
And it's not quite 6 of that, half dozen of the other, because we'd have to modify what's in here, or we could just change it all together and with the whole district, the whole zone there, the district area.
Kyle, is there a reason why we don't have the city planner here to give advice to the board as to, you okay?
I gotta eat a
Okay.
drink.
I haven't brought him in to every one of these meetings. He did all our drafts originally.
It would probably be helpful to
Yeah.
be here to give the pros and cons of everything the chair is saying and the other board members are saying.
Right. This is the first, or we found out yesterday, but yeah, I definitely would want to get an opinion.
Yeah, yesterday at 3:45.
Okay.
And I can get a recommendation to bring back, or have him attend.
I think it would probably be best to have him attend if it's only gonna take an hour or two for each one of these meetings. That's my suggestion, it's your money, it's not mine.
Right.
I can even have
It's helpful
a
to-
conversation, I've talked to him plenty of times, I could have a conversation, just bring him up to speed what I'm trying to.
It should be
say.
done here at the board meeting, you shouldn't be doing it individually.
No, but I mean, for his to be more prepped when he came in, or you can have, whatever, you got the idea what I'm trying to.
We'll get him for the next meeting, and then I think we get to talk about everything we have for a planner.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be helpful to you.
Yeah, right,
as
agree.
chair,
You
So that you
can
can
help
say,
explain it.
how is it going to affect the entire zoning district? And if really your goal at this point is to increase the property value, he could probably provide a calculation as to what that increase would be. So let's just say if it increases $10,000 a year. I mean, is that sufficient enough for you to want to make the change the entire zoning district because you're getting $10,000 more into the coffers
Yeah,
of the city?
Well, it'd be
So-
more, but I don't.
Well, yeah, it's a terrible example. I'm just saying that maybe there could be an analysis that would be done that would show, based upon
Yeah,
your
or,
recommendations, how much that would really benefit.
That's great, I bring somebody that does this for a living, because I don't, but for instance, you said there's one that hasn't passed yet down there at the Nautical Watch, that would be a perfect example of lost revenue right away if that doesn't get passed on the 50%, it's very close, as you said. So that would be, capitalize on that right away, while the opportunity's present. So if we wait too long, that's something, we're gonna miss the boat on that.
well, I mean, next month's meeting?
I've never turned you down on one yet. It's hard to get everybody together.
Has there been any request by Bel Air Beach Motel or the other one that you're talking about to improve or to expand?
Bel Air Beach
it?
Motel, I had me look at it a couple times to make sure that it didn't reach that substantial damage threshold, and it didn't. We
They're already
calculated
improving,
it.
they're building it back.
Yeah.
But as far as getting it rezoned and knock it down, and no, that's not what that current owner's looking for. He did have a developer approach him and made an offer, and it didn't go through, he didn't want to do it. So he was, well,
Yeah, too much red tape and all of that. Yeah.
he said, you do all the work or whatever, and
Yeah.
that's, I'm not too deep into it with him, but I just know that that's got me thinking there's a lot of opportunity here up and down Cook Boulevard that we can get more revenue. Because we already took care of the single family side, so now I'm just.
No, it makes sense. I think with Louis Serna, just doing an analysis. kind
Yeah, I
of
agree.
all
That's
lots,
a
all
great,
the
great,
current
we're gonna
use.
talk all day, 'cause we're not getting,
Mhm.
we're not getting any
Tax-
traction.
Yeah.
The city attorney said, bring in, let's just get the guy that does it for a living, that maybe answers more of your questions, because I'm not an engineer, I don't have a
Mine.
And there's also the other issues that we're talking about here. We just can't change the land development code. I mean, it has to be in sync with our comprehensive plan and Fort Pinellas countywide rules. And so we want, Fort Pinellas doesn't want more people on the beach. They definitely don't want people on the beach because of the fact that the danger that comes with adding more people to the beach. And so Fort Pinellas is very particular, and the countywide rules are very particular, allowing us to do certain things out here. And I'm not just talking about Bel Air Beach, obviously, it's the entire.
Right, the big picture.
So are they restricting like Madeira Beach now with what they're building?
So the answer is that Madeira Beach just went through a process of rezoning like the entire Johns Pass Village area.
I'm the owner of it.
Okay, in the downtown center, so you're familiar with that then, sir? I thought I recognized you, and I apologize. But so the answer is that they've gone through and changed all their zoning to allow different types of structures being built. Anyhow, so I just want to make sure that we all understood that just changing our land development code isn't necessarily the only thing that we need to do. We need to make sure it's in sync with the comprehensive plan and the countywide rules. So, and Louis Serna can tell us that as the planner. He can tell us we're going down the wrong path, or this is something that is feasible. So.
Okay.
We'd actually be reducing, even with 20 units there, we'd be reducing that in half instead of growing it, because it's 40 some odd units now. So I hear you, we would have too many more umbrellas on the beach and we would have less.
Understood.
Okay.
So we're gonna table that. All right, so
Yeah,
now,
for next
now we go back to where we left off from back when we were in winter closed.
Yeah, so with chapter 94, I just want to recap.
But
everything we talked
going back,
about.
we've got to go ahead and move forward with the container thing and the boats on some docks, right?
So,
We don't need this guy to talk about that.
no. So,
We'll suggest that to the council.
right, so you brought up today, we brought up the containers,
Container and the boats on the side of the dock.
the boats being
Inside
parked
setbacks.
in the setback, and then the floor area
We'll
ratio.
table the zoning of R.
And then some of the other things that we covered in this chapter that were different from the draft presented is we have on page 14 that we want to recommend the council has a vote after the Board of Adjustment vote. We want to go back to the old
Right,
system.
we want the council to have a final say.
Okay. And then we also want to request that the variance applicant attempts to get statements of no objection.
I'm sorry, to do what?
You want an attempt to be made to get a statement of no objection for a variance?
Yeah, no objection on it.
What does that mean, attempt?
So that's, it's like a form already created, the county has one, and the neighbor has the opportunity to sign it and say that they're not against what.
We went through this one. let's
Yeah,
not-
I remember, but I just want to know what attempt means, like, how
Yeah.
many times you have to,
So if your neighbor wants to put in something that your immediate abutting neighbor, they have to have you say, I'm for it. If it doesn't get past you, it's not the end of it, but it probably is. But so they go to either neighbor and get a sign saying, no objection, fine, I'm for it, go ahead. And the county does it, it's just, there's everybody that's not part of the deals, they at least know the temperature of the neighborhood, how the neighbors feel about it.
Then we have on page 31, but there's other areas that we're not gonna do smaller than a 12-foot setback for docks on the side. to the
Keep it
next
the way it
property.
is,
We're
yeah.
keep it- we're not doing the
Yeah.
reduced, it's the recommendation. And we also have for planting trees along the property line, we recommended trees shall not be planted no closer than 3 feet to the property line, and that's on page 41 to 74. But the board recommended 2.5 feet. What's the change on that? Is that?
Yeah, pretty much the opposite was right here, he liked that, yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, I missed.
It was this how deep, put a ant line right on the property line or move it over a little bit, and you were the main person that kind of came up with a 2.5, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I need clarification. We said, we had on page 50 of 74, which starts on the previous page with 94-297. And number 8, it says floating docks larger than 200 square feet shall require a permit through the city and shall meet the requirements set forth in section 94-265 and 214. So we wanted to say all floating docks require a permit, right?
But we said.
Or do we want to say no floating docks,
docks, not
restricted?
zero.
Okay, all right.
No floating docks.
That's what I needed.
Yeah,
What?
There's a lot of floating docks.
you are going awfully fast. here.
Okay, you were definitely no floating dock. That was actually your suggestion. And then I pointed out where they kill everything underneath it. Everything. Like for instance, unfortunately behind my home, there was one there and the county had them removed 4 months ago now. But we had 320 or 420 square feet of manatee and sea turtle grass, which is very hard to replace if ever. And we had, believe it or not, manatees coming and we had sea turtles coming. And guess what? It's all dead.
Yeah.
It's dead because there's no sunlight. The dock at least gets way up there with cracks and the sun can get the size, but the
Yeah.
floating dock's right on the water. It kills everything.
Solid platform.
Kills
yeah.
it. And then they're not safe. They break loose. During Helena and Milton, they were all floating around banging into docks and
Yeah, damaging the property,
I
yeah.
had one, my neighbors took out my staircase. $100 to replace it. Nobody's running to my door with a check.
Yeah.
So
no.
we're taking out 8. Is that what?
So we just said no floating docks.
So we're gonna recommend no
Recommend.
floating docks. To
Yes.
the council.
Yeah.
All right. And then what we talked about today, and the only other thing I have is the antenna amateur radio tower that Randy's working on. And that is done for chapter 94. So that moves us on to review of chapter 30, marine structures, activities, and facilities.
Where is that at?
That should be the next section in that packet. It's one of 17. So maybe after 74. Right after those diagrams.
Where are we at? Okay. I'll be with
Okay. So, in this, we cover the marine structure, we had seawalls, we had docks. Remind you that all got moved to chapter 94 zoning, where there was other code for docks. And this section also covers the Bel Air Beach Marina rules and regulations. And when we reviewed it, other than moving and reorganizing the sections, let's just see what all the red strike throughs. There really wasn't much change except for what we've seen in the other chapters on page. Actually, no. So I only have one proposal that came up from a resident who was interested because they were on the marina wait list. And a few years ago, we restructured the admin policy that is the rules how the wait list operates. We came up with a down payment system, and if you make it to that first position, then you must take the slip or you forfeit your deposit. So we made a lot of stricter rules to reduce the number on the list, because there was a lot of maintenance, kind of keeping a very large list. Everyone was constantly checking where they were positioned. It didn't really matter because it didn't change that much. So we reduced the list. We got a lot more buy-in. It's been working well. But what came up in the process is we've always had a rule that you cannot park trailers in the marina parking area. It was suggested that we possibly make a couple trailer areas that a person who is in line or is currently on the wait list with a deposit could utilize this space as, you know, there would be a limited amount and there would be a rental fee until they were moved into a slip. Was the proposal, just to offer a little more space for a resident.
With
to
a
utilize
restriction
all
in
the-
time, you have so much leeway.
I haven't proposed or discussed an actual time limit. My thought was until they got in.
Well, with some people.
But if they didn't, if they ever
Eternity.
got off the list or had no intention to go into the marina, then that wouldn't,
If
it
they
wouldn't
put
be
it,
an ongoing.
if we put a couple trailers, 3-4 trailers in there, would it be fine with the parking that we had to give to the state of Florida for the beach renourishment? Would it feed into that? Would it be visible from Gulf Boulevard?
I'll check on the spots that they calculated. They're doing all that right now for the current project. So I'll find out what that, you know, how that would affect the total spots of that lot if we took, you know, 2 spots for trail. I think we'd be okay, but
It
matters.
wouldn't really, find a nice aesthetic area to put it, and it didn't mess up our beach renourishment, because, you know, they're always looking for anything to deny us of any opportunity for it. I guess we have a little homework to do.
I just would mention to you, one of the things that we've been dealing with them in Deer Beach for a number of years at the marina is the unsightliness of old rusted trailers where boats are sitting on them. And so you maybe want to be thinking about how you can hide those from the rest of your residents behind a fence or something like that. Deer Beach added a 6-foot white vinyl fence, and that seemed to curtail some of the complaints that the city commission was receiving as a direct result of old trailers and old boats sitting there, so at the marina.
Yeah, it does have something to do with aesthetics. If you had a way to hide it behind sea grapes or a fence or whatever, then
Yeah.
okay.
that would be the way to do it. Going back to the waiting list on the boat slips, is there a provision in there that says somebody can't buy their way up in line, like if it's like, say, you're number
So
30?
you can't like pay more money to actually increase.
Or go to the guy that's sitting at number 1 or number 2 and pay him off to get his spot.
Can't officially do that, but yeah. I mean, if you had a guy at number 1 and he gets off his list, then he's forfeiting his money. That's part of the rules. So it would have to be a guy at number 2
The
that
next
you
guy
can
up.
convince to somehow, I don't know. Just
But people do that with waiting to buy new boats all the time, where you put your name in for a boat and it's a 3-year wait, and then next thing you know, you buy the guy that's up next, and you give him nice money and just take a spot.
Yeah.
I can see
So we
people doing that.
manage the list, so we don't officially allow anything like that.
Do we have any vacancies there at all now?
We do not have.
No.
We have a full active list. I would say
Okay.
between 5 and 10,
It's,
which is a good number.
it's a waiting list that's going to go.
You got half of it, huh?
What's that?
With your boat, you take half of it. Okay.
Okay, so I'll look into fence option and how that would work with the nourishment. Is there anything else that comes to marine structures? Like I said, seawalls and docks are now in zoning with the marina rules.
Not really the marina, I think you guys govern that really well. It's been always like a separate type of thing for the city, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's one couple, I think they still live there on 25th and Hibiscus. But they're really involved with the marina for many years. Really nice people. The one thing I did, back about 25 years ago, they put an awake zone around our city, because the wave runners were just having a blast going through the coves at real high speeds and so forth. And I believe it was 150 feet off the seawall. And I was involved with that, but then over the time, I've seen people actually go out their boat and drag the
Oh, there.
marker out farther, and, because they don't want boats going by their house, and I get it. But the sandbars over there off of, right by Belle Isle, they moved the marker so far out, and it's not the city moving in, I don't think, it's just the residents in that area. It steers the navigator right into the sandbar, so it creates a danger. So if we're gonna have how many feet they're supposed to be placed off the seawall, we gotta keep an eye on that.
I got the beach bathing area in this. And then, here we go. Minimum weight zones 30, so it's 9 of 17, 30-11. And that's the harbor side. So right now, it's got, 150 from the easternmost shoreline, north of the bridge.
150, that's what I thought. But you go out, some of them are 300, 400 feet out.
So do you think 150 is the number?
That's what they had it looked at. I think the county helped the city on the placement and what they should do, and that's what they did. They didn't just pick a number at a level here. They did it with somebody knows a little bit more about the water nav here, and they came up with 150, and that's where we placed them, and it was for safety as well. And then people took it on their own to drag them out further, especially along Belle Isle. So that's not the intent of them. Like I said, I'm local, I know that.
It forces them into the same.
Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? You see the boats in it, because they're not familiar with the area. So it's just, safety. Now, what about moon bathing? Do we still have that?
Moon bathing?
Yeah, they had an emergency meeting years ago where they had to put in moon bathing because we had bums starting to show up, and they were sleeping right here on the little beach right here.
Oh.
And so they said they're sunbathing, but the bum said, no, I'm moon bathing now. They sleep on the beach. I don't know if that was still there or not. It was pretty funny.
Some clever people.
How do you guys feel about a no camping ordinance? It's been brought up by a few member bankers in our meetings.
Is there anybody allowed to camp now?
We haven't had a problem recently. Anytime we do have a homeless, they
Is that what you mean by
check them
camping?
out, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just ask them.
Have to keep it moving, go to Indian Rock.
Yeah.
Move it.
I mean, I don't think we should have camping, and we have no campsites.
Right.
No.
It was just something that member banker was trying to get ahead of because of some of the states out west.
Especially what I just said, the moon bathing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and you start with one, and another one comes along. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, I wouldn't allow camping on the beach, if that's what you're meaning.
Or in the parks.
Yeah.
Or in public.
Or behind
no.
here, yeah, no.
No, yeah, make something.
Yeah,
Definitely, I think that.
and then you out there trash behind, and no way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I will bring something to our next meeting that will address that.
That's something nice, get ahead of that one.
I believe that would probably go in chapter 38, which is our next. chapter we gotta cover.
Yeah, Tent City.
All right, so this is chapter 38, parks, recreation areas, and city facilities. This is where it goes over the rules of the beach parking sticker. The one change is on page 2 of 3. We took off for the banner decal, the requirement to have the registration address and valid driver's license shall match the city address of these property. We find that people will come and get like a year lease on the beach, but or sometimes 6 months, but they don't necessarily change their driver's license. We do verify that they are the person they say they are and they're on a lease and that they have an active lease. It's just this, we find this to be more of an inconvenience. When you have a renter that has a lease, they typically don't go and get their license changed for one thing, or whether they're moving around or what the situation is. So we don't think that this would allow anybody to take advantage anymore than what they already are, which is a
Where is
rule
this
that's in
at?
there that we never get. Right on page 2 of 3, 38-109, renter decal. And the max they can have is 2 for a rental house. But if an owner was to get decals, they could get as many as they had registrations for.
I don't have a decal on my car, I don't want one, just because, for aesthetics. I'd like to see, I know it's easier for the sheriff to pull in and see the stickers as he's driving through, but if there's a way we can put a temporary one on our car, or we can put it on our dash or something. I don't want a yellow sticker on.
No, I keep it in my glove compartment
So people
when
take
I
it
go.
inside. Yeah, you put it in the glove.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not only that, people are so out there, it's fearful. And, you know, people have experienced not pleasant situations because they were trespassing on our beaches and the sheriff took care of it. So they get a bug up, you know, and so they see you with, and you have a beautiful car and so forth, and you see your Bel Air Beach sticker on there, and it identifies Bel Air Beach. So what's to say that they're not gonna say, okay, I'll get even with you, I'll, you know, take my keys and scratch your paint and whatever. And that's what I like the sticker, but it's so pronounced that where you're from.
That is true.
Oh,
I noticed them when I'm on all over the county and I see them.
yeah, I mean, if you pay $100,000 for a car, you sure in hell don't want to. Anyway, that's my thinking.
I mean, as far as easy identifiable, you know,
I don't have a solution, that's what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah, I
like-
don't either.
It's the only solution I can say is you throw you know, a laminated one up on your dash when you're using it, and then you put it back in your glove box. What keeps you from putting that in your friend's car either, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But I just don't want to put that advertisement in the back of my car. It's where I live. But come up with an idea.
maybe just throw out the possibly a different idea or
So
something.
if you're in a workshop or something, beat it up. I don't have an idea.
Okay.
Now, that was here on Gulf Boulevard, they've had a Winnebago or whatever in front of their house for quite a long time here. And they're, because they're redoing the inside of their home.
Yes, but which address are you talking about? What's this?
We've got to handle it.
It's right here as you,
There's one right on this Southwood Boulevard here.
yeah, that's right, yeah, right here.
Throw it right here. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get established here. What's going on? Okay, so, do we have anything else? We talked about stickers, that's really all. The marina decal, just, there is if you say you're a non-resident, so you're not a Bel Air Beach resident, you don't get the discounted sticker or the opportunity to buy one. You can get a marina decal just for the purpose of parking for your solar lots, so that's what. Okay, so chapter 50 is our streets, sidewalks, and other public ways. We had a roadway
50,
intersection
50
visibility.
what? 50 and what?
The 50,
Dash what?
so right in the very 1 of 20, very first page of chapter 50. Could be 1 of 20.
Like you scratch it, you go back on there.
So we have roadway visibility, we moved after 94 too.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah. So that's just, we just got I think this, the only recommendation that Mr. Cerna had was to change one area where we have the fees listed. And that's on page 18 of 20. And
18 of 20?
Yeah, and this is like, reflects anywhere our fees mentioned in the code. We want to, replace it with as established by resolution by city council, and then, do the resolution to cover all these fees and set them. So that we can do updates periodically without having to change the code to 2 readings. So that was the only recommendation on that chapter. It talks about use of the right of ways, it talks about public communication, and transfer of property. We've had communication companies interested, asking about kind of like our codes where they could read about it. But we haven't had any actually putting in new communication. Currently we have Spectrum and Frontier are the 2 communication services.
We got both of them. I got a 500 over 500. That comes to my house. The reason why we have Frontier here is that the CEO of Verizon lived on Bel Air Shore, and he ran that leg out to Bel Air Shore. It cost about $7 million for Verizon to pay for it, but they didn't know they were just running it out to his house because they didn't really. There's no commercial business here.
Oh, okay.
So they could to have 500 over 500 is the strongest it gets. It goes into the White House, and so but there's 2 legs to it. So I grabbed the other leg.
Okay.
So it's like pretty fast at it.
So you got it, all right.
So then he put Frontier through everybody's yards just to kind of justify it, and they sold it like 8 months later. So.
That's the answer. What year was that?
Oh God, 15 years ago, maybe 16 years ago. He lived in that kind of greenish stuccoed house on Bel Air Shore, about 4 in. Sold it.
So Carl, I just have a question. Are you involved in any of the talks about the Elevate Florida, the grant money?
Yes.
So I don't know this to be true because this is just something that has come up repeatedly in conversations. People are saying that folks have sold their homes because of the damage. And that real estate developers are buying those homes and then applying for those grants. Is that like?
That can happen. I've heard that they can get those grants, but they're supposed to be prioritized to the people that
Actually live
damaged.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the FDEM personnel who's made the state Florida Department of Emergency, they said that those people can get those grants. But I don't know how that they're actually curtailing that.
Because the last
They're-
notice we got was like, we'd be notified in August. Like if,
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's staying on track.
and it's not to rebuild, but ours is for like mitigation.
Okay.
Like if you pay 75, we pay it and then they can reimburse you for 75% if you're approved in that
Yeah.
grant process.
Right.
So since we couldn't build that, that's what we applied for, but we haven't, it's gonna be the end of August before they.
Yes. And the people that are done will rebuild their elevations. They probably won't even start doing that until after this season. They never said it was gonna happen in that time.
Yeah, well, that's
They were
true.
talking 11 months from the start, and I think they just tried to expedite it. So it's slow.
Yeah, I just thought we should prioritize our residents over,
Oh, yeah.
Zillow.
Right.
I don't know how we do that, but.
Well, right now, FDM is dealing directly with the applicants. I believe they're gonna get me involved, more so with each individual case as they approve them. But I haven't been dealing with each person's case. I've been finding out information that they've been asking, and relaying it. But if they do get me involved, then I do know which houses were originally owned and which ones have been purchased.
Well, that's
So,
good, yeah.
bring it up.
I mean, there should be like a cut, like you have to be a resident for a year or something, before.
I don't know what their rules are. So that's all the chapters we have today. I think that, we have one more meeting, we can get through the rest of our drafts and also have a little presentation about the RM district from Mr. Stern.
So when are y'all available? We're down, we have to all three be here because one of our members is out for the summer.
Right.
Yeah, so,
We won't hold you to it, at least get a feel.
yeah.
We got a
It'll
plan right
be,
here.
I won't be able to meet for at least a month,
When?
at least another month.
Okay. So today's what?
Unless y'all,
17th?
I mean,
Okay.
if I can do it remotely, I'm going to get some medical treatment and I won't be able to be in crowds. So if I can do it remotely,
We won't have an in-person quorum.
You have to have 3 people physically present to be able to join by Zoom or Teams. So that means that you can't do it if the other person is not available at all. You have to be here. So we'll have to wait until you're available.
Okay. So maybe late July?
I mean, we can shoot for that. It just
Okay.
depends on how I do. Yeah.
And then we'll push back.
Well, that way, take care of your personal stuff
Yeah,
before
that's
this.
what-
Oh, I know.
And when's our other member coming back?
She said, she just didn't give a date, but she said she'd be gone all summer.
When the humidity leaves, she comes back, yeah. So we might be here in the fall, but we'll see.
Well, from March to June. Okay.
Do you have enough, like, to send forward to the council that they can do their thing, or we gotta complete this whole process?
No, I could take where we're at right now. I feel like the rest of it we have to cover isn't gonna affect what we've already gone.
Other than the thing, we're gonna have the planner come in.
Right, that'll be
They can
nice.
go back, to that section and.
Yeah, I'll wait by 94, because that's our biggest chapter,
Mhm.
and it's all kind of
It's all.
intercrossed together with how it works, so yeah, that one I would wait on until we go through all that.
Oh, finally Frontier came and took care of that damn wire.
Good.
I completed.
I went right to the government guy.
For the
Yes, that
financial.
was-
4-1.
Yeah.
Hey,
Are
what
you-
it did do though
Are you
is
keeping track?
got me in,
I'm just making
Touch with
notes
somebody
that,
else.
so you went
They
ahead and submitted
They
it?
started from
Great,
the
thank
street
you.
to the house. So when they got to the house, there was like 75 feet of extra wire. So what they did, I didn't see it right away, but I went back to see what the hell they were doing. They took that wire and they zigzagged it all over the lawn. So, no matter what you do on that lawn and so forth,
it's probably like just a couple inches under too.
yeah, exactly. So that wire is gonna be cut.
Probably. That's what they do in my yard,
They did?
same thing. You wanna do the general business?
Where are we at?
I thought we were done.
General business, I think I brought mine in, I don't have any, you guys have anything, just in
No.
general?
No.
So you're a permanent new attorney?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, nice meeting you.
Life is good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We
So
just have a motion to adjourn, right?
Adjourn, yes.
Did you second it?
Second, yeah.
No vote is necessary.
Okay. Keep us on track.
Any refreshes on a little bit of the rules there? We're not running here all day.
Is everybody aware, Kathy,